told myself my progression is going to be become a rotation player, become a starting point guard, and then win an NBA championship. And people are definitely going to laugh when they hear that. They're not going to be laughing until it actually happens.
9 years after the madness that was Linsanity, we find Jeremy Lin trying to prove himself once again, showing everybody that he deserves an NBA job. What's up, guys? I'm Benvo, and a diehard Jeremy Lin fan. I was heartbroken last summer when he signed that deal in China, showing that no team had any real interest in him, regardless of numerous teams in desperate need for a veteran point guard like himself. I, and obviously Jeremy, had believed that the league had given up on him, regardless of the fact that he had averaged 27 and 4 per 36 just a season before when he was coming off the bench with Atlanta. Not only that, but it makes it more heartbreaking due to Jeremy's amazing leadership, as Trae Young even said that Jeremy was a great guy and was one of the most unselfish players he's played with. Regardless of all that, it's obvious that I'm making this video due to Jeremy's signing with the G League and his short success he's had up to this point. As I'm making this video, Jeremy is averaging 18, 7, and 2 on 50, 60, 80 shooting splits, and has proved to be the leader of this young group, highlighting Jordan Poole and Nico Mannion. In his 3 games thus far, Jeremy has slowly progressed and had the best game of his G League career to this point, putting up 29 and 9 with 2 steals. On top of his performance, he shot 75% from the field and 78% from 3, being efficient everywhere. Offensively on the court, except on the ground, where he led the league that night with 7 turnovers, and is 4th in the entire league for total turnovers so far this season. This brings us to Jeremy's future and chances of going back into the league. It's obvious that he was given this opportunity due to his great relationship with the Warriors, and more particularly, Steph Curry, as there have been talks about Jeremy joining the Warriors since the offseason now. If Jeremy was to play at the next level, once again, it's obvious that he's no longer capable of being that starting point guard in this league, especially with all the talent that the point guard position has in this era. With that out of the way, I think Jeremy would be great as a veteran leader off the bench to help develop young guys, and to have an even greater presence in the locker room, and to possibly even mentor the team's point guard. Now that we got Jeremy's role out of the way, it comes down to where I think he would best fit in this type of NBA landscape. Like I said before, the point guard is the hardest position to find an NBA job. Even with all that said though, I still got 4 destinations where I think Jeremy's game would prosper and where he'd benefit the team as well. At number 4, I have the Indiana Pacers. Right now they only have 2 point guards on the entire roster, being Malcolm Brogdon and TJ McConnell. I feel like Malcolm is obviously having a career year, but on the other hand, TJ is one of the worst backup point guards right now. On top of this, they have Sabonis and Miles Turner, who I think would both heavily benefit from Jeremy being on the floor, as his pick and roll offense would be very effective for them and helping them progress their careers. The team overall though is struggling, especially with the loss of TJ Warren and Victor Oladipo, so adding him in as some type of veteran leader with Oladipo gone would heavily benefit this team. On top of that, he could probably help mentor Brogdon. Even though Brogdon right now is probably a better player than Jeremy ever was, Jeremy was a very smart player throughout his playing days and could definitely teach him a thing or two. Overall though, the team has no clear star. It's a team effort of usually 5 to 7 guys that you can rely on when they're all healthy to score the ball. So there wouldn't be much pressure on him to score. That's why I feel like overall this could be a good option for him. Number 3, I have the Houston Rockets. The reason I bring them up as a contender is because they only have one real consistent point guard, of that being John Wall, who's obviously been getting very inconsistent minutes due to his health and missing the last 2 seasons. So it would be good to have a veteran leader step up in his place when he is hurt. And they only have 2 point guards total on that roster because they dropped Chris Clemens, their backup being Mason Jones, who's one of the weakest backup point guards. Honestly, he has looked good in nights where he has played, but he gets very inconsistent minutes. Some nights he'd get 20 minutes and the next night he wouldn't even play. So you'd want a more established player to step in for him if you're going to try to compete for the playoffs. The second reason why I bring this team up is due to their backups. It would be a big 3 off the bench of himself, Eric Gordon, DeMarcus Cousins, and that's a very good group on the second team to help lead your backups. On top of that, I think Jeremy Lin would help benefit Christian Wood's career and progress him as a player, and even help DeMarcus Cousins with his pick and roll play. And lastly, it doesn't really have to do with the fit of the team, but it'd be so cool to see Jeremy Lin, the guy who's been given up on his entire career, go with this misfit style team with Wall, Oladipo, Chris Wood, and Boogie, who have all also been given up on. At number 2, I have the Golden State Warriors. I feel like he'd be a great fit there due to his great relationship with the Warriors and Steph Curry, as he'd be backing him up, and as he's progressed as a better and better defender throughout his career, which is definitely needed when Steph Curry is your starting point guard, and with the absence of Klay Thompson. Right now, Brad Wanamaker is their backup point guard, and I'm really not sold on him leading my team if Curry was to go down. And in the second group, they have Eric Paschall, who's definitely slowed down since the beginning of his rookie season. And it would be great to have a guy like Jeremy come and be able to set him up with his pick and roll offense. At number 1, I have the Brooklyn Nets. I think they are by far the best fit for Jeremy, as just to begin, they have Mike D'Antoni, who was the reason why Jeremy was so successful in New York back during Linsanity. I also think he's a great fit here because they have no depth after trading for James Harden, and they have no real backup point guard on this entire roster. So to have Jeremy be able to step in as a leader, especially with Kyrie missing a third of their games this season, regardless if it's of injuries or if he's straight up just being unpredictable, you have a veteran leader to step in and run that offense, which is something you need if you have KD and James Harden in that roster as well. This Nets team has struggled defensively this entire season after trading for James Harden, and he would definitely help that issue, as like I've said before, he was never a great defender, but he's slowly improved as his career's gone on. Overall, there are plenty of more destinations where Jeremy could fit on a roster, maybe even Cleveland or Toronto, but those were by far my favorite situations, especially Brooklyn. But no matter how he plays or what I think, it all really just comes down to if he's given a real opportunity. And as we've seen plenty of times throughout his career, the NBA doesn't seem to give him too many of those. Anyway, if you're still around, I recommend checking out John Tortorelli. He has about 750 subscribers, and he's the reason why I plan on getting into this type of content. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I see you guys in the next one.